In a room full of people competing for attention, the person who says the least often becomes the center of gravity. While everyone else burns energy trying to be heard, this person remains still, and the room's focus inevitably drifts toward the one person who isn't contributing to the noise. We are taught to associate intelligence with speed, the fastest retort, the loudest point, the dominant presence in a debate. Yet reacting to every external prompt is an act of yielding. The moment you let someone else's words dictate your pulse, they have gained a measure of influence over your behavior. That outward silence is the byproduct of a specific mental framework. It is the visible result of a brain running a series of diagnostic checks before the mouth ever opens. To understand this, we need to slow down the clock. We are going to map the specific step-by-step cognitive timeline an intelligent mind follows when it encounters a high-stakes social conflict. This sequence ensures that the final response is dictated by choice rather than reflex. The timeline begins with a trigger, a verbal jab, a direct insult, or a pointed disagreement intended to provoke. The human brain is wired for a defensive spike. The default setting is to fire back immediately to protect the ego and regain social standing. High intelligence utilizes a mechanism called response inhibition to interrupt this reflex. A stimulus sends a red impulse toward a reaction node. Response inhibition acts as a tactical delay. The impulse hits a rigid barrier and freezes, creating a window of time to transition from a reactive to an analytical state. This engineered pause prevents the environment from overriding the person's judgment. Within this pause, the mind begins observing the aggressor. Many people treat a conversation as a series of gaps they need to fill with their own thoughts. In this timeline, the observer stays quiet to let the other person's behavior provide context. By remaining silent, they can track the aggressor's shifting tone, their defensive posture, and the specific words they use to mask their own uncertainty. Silence often makes an aggressor uncomfortable. To fill the void, they usually keep talking, often revealing more of their true intentions or weaknesses than they originally intended. The conflict effectively becomes a source of new information, where the aggressor provides the observer with the very details needed to resolve the situation later. Next, the brain runs these observations through a logical filter to identify the root of the conflict. In this diagram, the straight line of logic moves towards an ego trap, the volatile, oscillating line. When logic meets unregulated emotion, it is simply absorbed and twisted. The interaction provides no resolution, making the argument a waste of resources. Seeing this futility, the intelligent mind chooses to disengage. It refuses to play a game that has no winning move. This decision preserves mental energy for tasks that actually yield a result, rather than spending it on a battle for temporary validation. The final step in the sequence is to look at the second-order effects of any potential action. The mind asks how a specific response will look tomorrow, next month, or a year from now. It weighs a moment of satisfaction against the potential for long-term complications. This is a practice of delayed gratification, trading the immediate relief of a sharp comeback for the stability of a preserved relationship or reputation. Operating this way requires a high degree of self-awareness, which is built through consistent practice. This is why many intelligent people prioritize solitude. Spending time alone allows the brain to process thoughts and emotions without the pressure of an audience, refining the ability to stay calm when an audience is present. Learning to be comfortable in one's own company creates a level of independence that makes external provocations less effective. Returning to real time, the fraction of a second is over. The intelligent person blinks, gives a brief nod, and moves on with their day. From the outside, it might look like they missed an opportunity to defend themselves. In reality, they have successfully navigated a series of internal checks to avoid a pointless entanglement. The stillness that society often labels as passivity is the visible side of this high-level processing. It is the signature of a mind that has prioritized clarity over noise. In a world that values constant engagement and rapid reaction, the ability to withhold a response is a rare form of discipline. When everyone else is reacting to the chaos, the person who maintains their own internal timeline is the only one who truly remains in control. True intelligence is often found in the silence.